welcomes you to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes. Call the show now at 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415 or soundbytes.org. Now, alongside Steve Ray and Dave Enright, here's Nick Francesco on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the chips in the PC. It is Saturday, the very first day of November, Anno Domini 2025, and you, you lucky people, you're listening to Sound Bytes. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 5 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things that choose, nothing to lose, kick off your shoes, don't get the blues. Have you paid your dues? Here comes the news. But before we get to the news, two quick announcements. The first announcement is I want to thank every single one of you who donated to our campaign. We had a membership drive that ended yesterday. We reached our goal. We had the biggest goal ever. As you know, things are getting more expensive. And we hit our $80,000 goal. Thanks to each and every one of you who was kind and generous enough to donate to the station.
Keeps us on the air for another
6 months.
6 months.
So thank you so much. We literally cannot do this without you, and we want to thank each and every one of you. And 1.5 announcements is if you missed donating, you still can. Just head on over to jazz901.org and hit the donate now button. But the second announcement is it's now safe to call us again, because we won't ask you if you're a member, and Cheryl won't be here to ask you if you want to pledge. So it's safe to call in again. Congratulations.
They can come out of the closet and ask their questions again.
And if you missed the announcements before the show started, happy birthday to Jazz 90.1.
Today is the 52nd anniversary.
Yep.
Started in 1973.
And tonight, don't forget, folks, to fall back 1 hour. It's daylight savings time, so everything falls back.
Excellent. I have to make a decision between getting an extra hour of sleep or just staying awake an extra hour.
Yeah.
You'll stay awake an extra hour.
So most electronic devices will do it themselves, but that one in the car, you won't get till Monday morning. And then
Yeah, when you're driving. Yeah.
In case I think Tuesday morning, but yes, I have two clocks that I.
Well, I got to remember, because then that way, for me, falling back, I'd wind up to work an hour early.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, no.
You don't want that.
Because the store doesn't open till 8.
Right. All right. So here's the news. Each year, tech and television companies boast their products' latest and greatest high-resolution displays. The 4K display, a screen with a horizontal display of approximately 4,000 pixels, first became widely available around 2014. Barely a decade later, you can purchase a TV with double the resolution. But at what point do all those pixels become pointless? Researchers at the University of Cambridge and Meta Reality Labs developed a new methodology to assess the capabilities of the human eye. We're all familiar with the Snellen chart, that chart of letters we're asked to read. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yes, it's that chart of letters we're asked to read from when we take an eye test.
Yeah.
Right? Snellen, a Dutch ophthalmologist, debuted the chart in 1862, and it's remained largely the same in more than 160 years. But our eyes haven't. Today, people are much more likely to stare at smartphones, tablets, and computer screens instead of paper or the sky while plowing a field. The research team devised a set of tests for modern eyes. The team discovered that our eyes sometimes have a higher resolution limit than the Snellen chart would have us believe. Grayscale images seen straight ahead can be seen with an average of 94 ppd, or pixels per degree. This measurement gauges how many individual pixels can cram into a single degree of your field of vision. Red and green hues allow for 89 ppd. Only along the visible yellow and violet color spectrums did humans see less than the Snellen chart might suggest, with an average of 53 ppd. The reason why we see better in grayscale is because the human mind simply isn't optimized for color. So it does turn out that you may not be seeing everything in that 60-inch 32K TV you just spent your kid's college fund on. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that's Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you, is Your eyes can only handle so much HDTV. And your choices are, I need all the pixels. I've suspected this. Still happy with my regular HDTV. You'll pry my cathode ray tube for my cold, dead hands. And I don't even own a TV anymore. So far, we've got 35 votes, and still happy with my regular HDTV is in the lead. Of course, if you want to vote in the poll, it's easy enough to do. Just head on over to soundbytes.org. That's Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you. And vote in the poll. And of course, you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. There's also a resolution display calculator that
I got it.
Oh, you got it. You got it right. He's ahead of me and everything. And that's up online. Steve has already posted that.
I like the chart on there. So my 60-inch, you can see 4K at 3 meters.
Yeah.
Which
I've
is 9
got
feet.
a 65-inch, and I'm sitting less than that, so I'm getting all my pixels.
You're getting all your pixels.
Well, those what is it? QOLEDs?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, that's a marketing gimmick. It does look a little better.
Yeah, I mean,
But they're not quantum dots.
You go into some of these stores and you see these new LEDs, and it's like the color just seems sharper.
Yeah, the color is very nice in those. What I don't particularly care for.
What makes them better is it's an OLED screen rather than a standard LED.
Right.
That's why it's so much better.
Right. I do like that. I don't need to see every pore
And
in all the faces
Yep.
on television.
Well, that's where a lot of actors don't like it.
Makeup
because,
Right.
has to get better. Costuming has to get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sets,
Yeah.
lighting,
Yeah.
Oh,
everything has to get better.
yeah.
Used
to be
it's not a big deal for me.
When your theatrical movie went to VHS tape, you couldn't see any of that.
Yeah, exactly
on
right.
your 20-inch television, which was huge.
Huge in those days. I've just got a 24-inch TV on an arm that I can swing out of the way when the cat would rather sit there.
Oh yeah, cats are really mad because it's very hard to sit on top of these monitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so if you're going to check that chart out, because if you're thinking of an HDTV for Christmas, then you're probably going to want to take a look at that chart and think how big it is and how far away from it you'll be, and whether it's worth the investment.
Yeah.
If you're too close or too far, you're wasting money.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost impossible to find a non-4K TV these days.
Yeah, well, that's the truth.
But what's been interesting is what size $400 or $500 get you.
Right.
For the last 10 or 15 years, every 2 or 3 years I buy a new TV for $500.
Right.
And each year it's much better. When they went from 60 hertz to 120 hertz, that was a huge jump in quality.
Double.
240 hertz, not so much.
Right.
Well,
again, the human eye,
Yeah.
it's a much better quality.
Yep.
Human eye can't see it.
The
So
48
what's the point?
48 frame per second Lord of the Rings movies that came out
Yeah.
got a lot of criticism for being too real.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a movie. It looked like looking out your window, and that was kind of the point. But the problem is the 4K content. There's very little content actually in 4K, and a lot of the content that says it's 4K has been compressed so much that it's not really the quality of a real 4K. Apple TV Plus usually gets the best ratings for true 4K because of the higher bandwidth it uses.
Well, and I was just about to say that's one of the problems with 4K.
Yeah.
Is that it uses much more bandwidth, and there are a lot of companies that don't want to pay that extra.
You gotta pay at one end or the other.
That's exactly
I
right.
mean, it doesn't come free.
That's right. When you're doubling the amount of data you're sending through my pipe, I'm going to charge you twice as much.
Yeah.
That's just the way that works.
Now, have you ever seen a 2,000-inch TV?
I have not.
Remember the Weird Al song, Frank's 2,000-inch TV? Linus Tech Tips built a 2,000-inch TV.
Out of one monitor or
3 projectors.
oh yeah, okay.
So the giant projectors you see at like concerts and stuff, these guys, we do that all the time. Just take 3 of them. So that was like $100,000.
Yeah, right.
But then they put up Mario Brothers, the first Mario game. The entire scrolling length of Mario fit on a 2,000-inch TV.
Yeah. What's interesting is these days you can buy a pretty decent projector for next to nothing, and it makes an excellent television.
Yeah. But what's interesting is
if you've got the room and the space.
Yeah.
and the
right.
place
That's
to
the
put
problem
it.
with projectors.
Right.
Nowadays, 70-inch TV is $500.
Right.
So the projector is $400 or $500, but you need an extra dark room. So the next step is short throw laser projectors
Right.
that you just put up against the wall. Yeah, they can make a 100-inch TV, but they're $5,000
Right. Today.
today. Yeah,
Yeah,
And
you-
$50,000 last year.
Wait till next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't watch a lot of television anymore.
That's the other half of it. Yeah.
There's not that much that really interests me. And of course, the other problem is there's one show I want to watch on this streaming service,
Yep.
and one show I want to watch on that streaming service. So either I get them all or I pick. Right now, my pick is none of them. Well, no, we still have Amazon Prime because my wife has the coffee stand at the
Yep.
public market, and we use Amazon shipping.
Yep.
She pays for Amazon Prime for the shipping, and so we get music and we get the television and it's all of that. Okay, so we have that, and I'm still got Netflix from like 700,000 years ago. Back when they were 3 DVDs
Oh yeah, a month and you'd
at a time. Keep them as long as you want.
yeah.
Keep them as long as you want. I think I still have one somewhere.
What is it? Okay, Boomer. The '90s called,
Exactly.
They want their CDs back.
They want their CDs
and
back.
their rebuttal is because they can't text.
That's exactly right. And I probably still have some Columbia Music House DVDs
CD.
sitting around, or
Yep.
cassettes
Yep.
sitting around somewhere. But those are, the streaming services are the rage right now. And one of the things that is a problem is the amount of bandwidth. And this whole 4K, 8K thing is a huge part of that. And again, as Steve said, do you have a 4K television? If you don't, why are you paying for 4K? Mm-hmm. Right? And I get that too. There was a guy, and I used to go to a particular place to get my breakfast many, many years ago. This guy knew I was a computer guy, and he said, "Oh, I just bought a 3D television." Great. I said, "Great. Is there any 3D content?" He said, "Well, there's a channel where you can watch an aquarium in 3D." I said, "Great." About 6 months later, I said, "What are you watching in 3D?" "The aquarium," he said. "The aquarium."
Now, what was interesting,
Except he had another word in between "the" and aquarium that I won't say on the air.
I have a Fire TV with a built-in YouTube channel,
Right,
and I go to the YouTube 4K demo content,
right.
and then I switch inputs to my Apple TV 4K with the YouTube app, and the same 4K content looks better.
Looks better.
Better processor in the Apple TV than
Yep.
in the television.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, that's the other thing. Whose devices do you have? Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, nowadays you can get everything on everything, but which device you have may tell you a lot about how good the quality of your picture is going to be. Because, like Steve said, the Apple, which is a premium product and costs you more than a Roku stick or a Roku TV, you have a higher end processor, a faster processor, more RAM. You're going to get a better picture. There's a lot more to it than just
And what I like about the Roku TVs,
yeah.
one controller.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm doing everything these
Well,
days off of my my Google TV, my Chromecast
Okay.
TV, which has the Roku app and it has every app.
So I had to add a sound bar because TV speakers are crappy.
Yes, they are.
So that's the second remote.
Right.
My wife listens to everything really loud, and I have to always turn it down.
I actually have a Roku plugged in, and I wanted to test something on it yesterday, and realized the batteries in the remote died about probably a year and a half ago.
Ooh, you better pull those out in case they haven't leaked.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I did that. So that's. But I just hadn't thought about that. They were just sitting in the remote box. All right, to the phones. Our first caller is Alex from Rochester, New York. What's up?
Hey, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
I love to hear that. Thank you.
I have a 2016 MacBook Pro, and it has aged out of the macOS updates. So I've been, surfing the web unprotected for a bit here, and I'd like to upgrade it with a Linux distro, but I just don't know which one to pick.
Does this MacBook Pro have the stinking touch bar?
It does.
Does it have a physical escape key, or is escape part of the touch bar?
No, escape is part of the touch bar.
Yeah, the next model, they made a physical escape key, and it works a lot better.
Okay, so I have one of those as well, and I haven't yet found a version of Linux that supports the touch bar.
That was my fear. That's what I've been finding.
Yeah, theoretically, the newest version of Linux, 6.17, the kernel 6.17, does that, and theoretically, it's in, Linux Mint. Do I want to say one of them has that, and I just downloaded it and installed it, but there's just a hoopla to get the touch bar to work.
Theoretically, if you don't need the F keys or an escape key, it doesn't matter if the touch bar doesn't work.
Right, everything else works fine.
Yeah.
I'm mostly just browsing the internet, so
if you use Chrome or Firefox or one of the other modern browsers, you're safe because they still support the OS. So that model maxes out at OS 12.
Right.
And so the OS isn't getting upgrades, but if you use Chrome, the latest version of Chrome is at 148 now or something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. Then that is still being updated against web threats, and that's where most of the threats come from anyways.
Okay, so you guys think just keep going with what I've got because I have Chrome on it, and I would be
very careful. I would be very careful where I go and what I click on, but yes.
Sure.
And you can always try Linux Mint. You said is one you were using.
Yeah,
if you don't need the F keys.
I remember which one.
Right.
So it's brightness and volume. Play, pause.
Yeah,
There's other interface buttons for each of those functions. But as Nick found out, the escape key, which is important for programming, you could bring up a soft keyboard that has escape on it. But that's an option.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, I think you've convinced me to keep riding it out a little bit longer.
Yeah. Did I try Zorin? Maybe I tried Zorin. I don't know. The ones that they say work. No. Okay. So what you need is the absolute latest version of a Linux distribution that has the kernel 6.17, or of course higher, but that's the latest one right now.
Okay.
And that would be Linux Mint, certain versions of Ubuntu, and maybe Fedora. There's also one called Omarchy, Omarchy, that I have not used, but also is supposed to be able to work. If you search for that one, there's a YouTube video on how to get the touch bar working with that.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you. This is some great advice. I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
I also just found a project on GitHub where someone claims to have got the touch bar working. But what doesn't work, audio.
Right.
So, you can have the touch bar working or you can have audio working.
Right. Well, I have to tell you, the touch bar was cute, but
I did a Cylon on mine for a while.
Everything Mac does that Apple does is in some way proprietary. And I understand the reasoning for that. But it just means that you end up with a lot of e-waste.
The touch bar was basically an iPhone, using an iPhone chip to control the touch bar functions, which was crazy. And it was Apple's compromise against building a touch screen, which they have always said would be too expensive, and Steve Jobs' famous gorilla arms, you're not going to be touching your screen all. Yeah, I use the keyboard all the time, but sometimes it's nice to touch a button.
Yep.
Like I'm doing on my iPad with a keyboard.
Right.
That's why there's fingerprints all over most people's screens.
This has a touch screen on it.
Yeah.
And I use it sometimes when 30 seconds, boom, I hit the button. It's easier. But yeah, there's a whole lot of backlash right now against both Microsoft and Apple because of the projected amount of e-waste. And Apple's been doing it for decades.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's you bought that model a month ago. Well, it's no good anymore. Throw it away. And Microsoft is doing the same thing. You know, if it doesn't have TPM 2.0 and it doesn't have the 9th gen or whichever is the last one you can have, throw it away. It's no good to you anymore. Well, then, except for the touch bar problem, you can put Linux on those machines and keep using them. In the case of a Mac, until the thermal paste dies.
I wonder if ChromeOS would work.
Or ChromeOS Flex or any of those.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know that Flex will work with the touch bar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then the problem is on the other side, Apple gets yelled at for not including a power brick in their phones.
Right.
New phone boxes. And now in Europe, in the computer boxes, there's no power brick.
Right.
Because of an EU law about not having so much e-waste.
Right.
People are complaining, well, then I have to buy a power brick separately. Well, you probably already have one.
Maybe.
Maybe for your phone, not maybe for your computer.
Right.
Yeah, a 10-watt one for your phone is a lot more common than an 80-watt one for your phone.
Right.
But then we heard in Brazil, it's just the opposite. If you sell a device that cannot be used with everything that comes in the box, it requires you to buy an extra box, that's illegal.
Right.
So in Brazil, they have to sell the phone and the charging brick. So the cable's still included, but the charging brick, they have to sell it as a single bundle. And that was Apple's point when they stopped including the bricks, is you've already got one, and we're cutting down on all the e-waste.
Well,
right as I switched to USB-C,
right.
I got a lot of USB-A ones. I don't have any USB-C ones.
Right. And what if you want to plug in all your devices at once? Mm-hmm. Apple is assuming you do not want to plug in all of your devices at once.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm on a trip, I get to the hotel room, everything is 2% battery, I want to charge everything.
Yeah.
I cannot unless I have bought an extra brick. Now I've bought more e-waste.
Yep.
It's just dumb. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Mark from Greece, New York. What's up, Mark?
Hello, good day, everybody.
Good day to you, too.
I wanted to tell you, I took my wife's old work computer, her laptop that she uses at home, which had Windows 10 on it, and two older towers, and converted them over to Linux. Now,
nice.
It was an interesting time. I did my wife's computer first and realized that one was going to need Linux Mint on it.
Yeah.
It just had limited memory, and we didn't really want to take the time to upgrade the memory. And so I put Mint on it and had a little hard time getting it to boot from the USB.
Oh, yeah, because of the BIOS.
Yeah. I had to jump through a lot of hoops, make sure it was in legacy mode, and just a bunch of stuff, you know, and turn off the safe boot.
Yeah, a bunch of that stuff. Many machines come with those on now, and they need to be turned off for.
Yeah, and I kind of got it right on the second tower I did because it was older and it wasn't UEFI.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'll wait till after the commercial. I hear you're going to go to commercial here.
Yeah, all right, hang on the line. Yeah. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, Mark from Greece, and you, but only if you give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299, toll-free 800-790-0415. You are listening to the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes, and the 52nd anniversary of Jazz 90.1. We'll be back in just a few.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Scott Carr. Cities and states across the country are spending millions of dollars to feed the hungry as federal food benefits are suspended because of the ongoing government shutdown. Funding for SNAP benefits expires today, cutting off food aid for about 42 million low-income Americans, many of whom are elderly, disabled, or children. On Friday, 2 federal judges said the administration must use billions in emergency funds to keep the aid coming. A federal judge has blocked part of an executive order by President Trump that would require voters to provide proof of citizenship. Reuters says the judge ruled Trump's not allowed to require voters to show passports or other documents before casting a ballot, citing the U.S. Constitution, which gives states the authority to oversee elections, not the president. Many Americans will get an extra hour of sleep tonight when clocks are set back 1 hour to mark the end of daylight saving time. Scott Carr, NBC News Radio.
Didn't hit 10,000 steps today? Relax, you might not need to. This is Sandra Tsinglow with the Lowdown on Science. Walking is a tried and true way to exercise. No gym membership required. But with a packed schedule, who has time for long strolls? Enter Larry Liu and team from Vanderbilt University. They analyzed the health and walking habits of nearly 80,000 people. 17 years later, they compared this to mortality data. Results? Speed mattered more than distance. Just 15 minutes of brisk walking a day cut the risk of death by 20%. So, if you're short on time, pick up the pace. Rest assured, it's a step in the right direction.
The Lowdown on Science is a production of University of California, Irvine Science Communication and LAist 89.3.
Stress may feel like a constant, and one that may lead to heart disease and stroke. But what if we focus on what we can control and turn those stressful minutes into our me time? Sometimes just taking a deep breath can make a difference. Or going on a short walk, maybe even taking a nap to recharge. Managing your stress means managing your health, so it's important to take back your moments. This is your me time. Own it. Learn more about reducing stress at heart.org/stress.
Hey there, Jazz Cats. This is Kyle Jamison, your host for The Breeze Network, a 3-hour program that explores the world of retro and contemporary jazz, fusion, soul, and much more. I invite you to join me on Saturday nights at 11 p.m., where we'll enjoy the cool and refreshing sounds of timeless classics and rare gems from my archives. Here on Rochester's Jazz 90.1. I'll see you there.
I'm William Shatner. I've been around a long time, but I'm truly humbled when I see the real battles our brave, paralyzed veterans have faced defending our freedom.
I was on a routine patrol, and we were in the desert of Kuwait, and the vehicle flipped and landed on top of me, which left me paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay, folks, this is heroism. That's why I'm proud to support Paralyzed Veterans of America. Go to pva.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Calling all veterans. Veterans Outreach Center wants you. We provide essential services for veterans in the greater Rochester area. Get employment assistance, health and wellness support, residential services, food, clothing, and so much more. VOC, serving those who serve us for over 50 years. Visit vocroc.org or call 585-546-1081 today to learn more.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
A mostly cloudy sky in store here for this Saturday across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes. And we'll have a couple of spotty lake rain showers. Temperatures will be into the upper 40s for highs. It will still be a bit breezy too, just not as windy as what it was on Halloween. As we head into your Saturday night, it's mostly cloudy. Still a possibility of a lake rain shower. The overnight low temperature in the mid-30s. And for Sunday, it looks like the drier, brighter, calmer of the 2 weekend days with some partial sun, highs near 50. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got mostly cloudy skies, 46 degrees out of the airport, and 43 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 35 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites, and we have Mark from Greece still on the line talking about his Linux experience. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. When I went to the second tower, the first tower I did, I decided, you know what, there's a DVD drawer in there, drive in there, and I said, I'm not going to mess with that. I said, so I went in and I disabled the things I had to do, and I put in the disk, and it went smoothly. A lot easier than it was with the USB.
Yep.
So I said, I don't care how long it takes, just as long as it takes it. So I did it, and it came out good. In the two towers, I put Kubuntu or Kubuntu, whichever way. I've heard it both ways, but I love KDE.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, so I put those in the two towers, and just smooth as silk. The third tower, the second tower I did, the third computer I did, that had 16 gigs of memory in it, and boy, it just flies.
Yeah, well, yes.
It just flies.
Yeah, and one of the beautiful things, KDE is a beautiful distribution. The K Ubuntu or Kubuntu uses KDE, the K desktop environment. And it is pretty. It is really pretty. And if you've got a decent processor and enough RAM, it's fast and it's really nice. I liked it, but back in the day, it was bloaty and slow. They've rewritten it at least twice that I know of, and it's very fast now and very clean and runs great. But, you know, back in the day with an older graphics card and limited RAM, it didn't run real well, and so I went mostly to XFCE, so Xubuntu or Xubuntu.
Right.
But yeah, KDE is real pretty, and nowadays is very good.
I put it on. I put it on that. The first tower I put it on, that had, it's like from 2012, and that had 8 gigs of memory in it that was topped out.
Yep.
It had 8 gigs of memory, and it had an i5 processor from 2012.
Yeah, but depending on which version you put in of Linux, it runs great too.
I put both. I'm trying to think. It's the long-term version of KDE.
Oh yeah, the LTS version, long-term support.
Yeah, I put them both on there, and even on the older computer, it still runs really smooth. I don't get any lag.
Yeah.
So whatever they did, it really runs smooth.
Yeah, like I said, the latest, particularly the latest rebuild, just flies. It's great. All right, sounds like you had a great experience.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that, it's not that different, especially now that, you only have to use that command line just once in a while.
Yeah.
And everything you need to do, just ask Google. It'll tell you what to put in. You can even copy and paste it.
Yep, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yep. Then you'll get used to it, and it's not that hard. So don't throw away your computers.
That's what we like to hear, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yep.
We used to say it's like getting a new car. The radio buttons are in a different place. The headlight switch is in a different place.
But you still know how to drive.
You still know how to drive. We haven't said that much anymore because I guess people don't get new cars that often anymore.
Well, they don't get new cars, and also the differences among operating systems has really gotten a lot less.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, sometimes something is not in the place it used to be in the menu.
Yeah.
But it's there.
That PC I was wiping for customer was a Pentium 3, 384 megs of RAM, and a 30 meg hard drive. Which Linux should I use?
Either damn small Linux or puppy Linux.
Yep. 384 megs of RAM.
Yeah. But both damn small Linux and puppy Linux will run on that.
Yep.
Without any real trouble.
Nice.
Yeah. It's real nice. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Dave from Greece, New York. What's up, Dave?
Hey, guys. Long-time listener. I have an actual problem I hope you can help me with.
Well, maybe.
So, I'm sure you'll have opinions. So I'm a teacher. I teach digital media production at BOCES in Fairport, and I teach teenagers with neurodivergence and other different learning disabilities. And so in the editing, I have a workflow problem. So the kids have iPad Airs, 5th generation. They record footage on. I also have a GoPro, which I think is MP4 format. And the problem I'm having is a couple things. One, the SanDisk 2 terabyte SSD doesn't seem to allow me to go too many levels down in file structure, and which is just happened the other day. And then, so it also reported that I didn't have room on the drive, which I actually had 1.5 terabytes left, according to, the info button on the iPad. And so when I went, my workflow right now is they record on iPads, I transfer them off to the SSD, then I plug into a PC and upload to either OneDrive or directly to this WeVideo browser-based editing program where it goes into their cloud service. And so, I've had this happen before. Of course, my greatest fear is that the SSD gets corrupted to the point where I lose everything. I do have the option. It's not really convenient. I could bring my MacBook in and keep everything, Apple-based until it goes up into the WeVideo cloud. So I guess what I'm asking, go ahead.
I would say that my first question is, what file system is the SSD formatted in? Is it FAT32? Is it NTFS?
I believe it's FAT32.
That's your problem.
Exactly.
It's limited to how many characters you can have in a path name. It's limited to how large a file can be.
And to how many files you can have at the root directory.
Yeah. Which is, I think, is 126?
126.
Yeah. And so it doesn't matter how much space is on the drive. If you try to put 127 files at the root, then it's full.
So I wasn't doing that, but it seemed like when I had a problem in the middle of a download, I moved the files to the root directory where they did.
Now you're talking about the width of the length of the file name, and it includes the directory path.
And it's not that it's 100 folders deep. It's that it's 32K of characters. So if you have 100 character folder inside a 100 character folder, or
so let's say you do it by student names.
Yeah.
By the time you get 2 or 3 or 4 levels deep, you're kind of done.
Right.
Yeah. So if you can reformat that as exFAT, it'll erase everything on the disk. So make sure you copy everything off onto a computer that you need.
Right.
That will work better for large files, for depth of files.
Now, another thing is SSDs really. This is a 2. You said it's a 2 terabyte solid state drive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that again, particularly if you're moving it around a lot, SSDs are a lot sturdier than spinning hard drives, but still, you shouldn't count on it as your only storage.
Okay.
Right.
The way an SSD writes data is it burns through an insulation around a cell. So every time you write data to the disk, you're damaging the cell. So most SSDs come under-provisioned. So you say you buy a 2 terabyte drive, there's 1.8 terabytes available, or there's actually 2.2 terabytes on it, but it only tells you 2 terabytes so that it can do what's called wear leveling, and put data in other cells so you don't wear out too many cells.
Right. But basically, what you're doing sounds right. You just need to change the formatting of the solid state drive, and to either exFAT or HTFS or if it's
that's causing his loss,
right,
his issues,
right,
by the format.
That should help significantly.
So a couple times when this happened, and I plugged it into the PC, I did get an error that Windows wanted to fix the drive, which I let it do, and then it worked for a while.
Yeah, I don't know what Windows did to it.
It might have been a defrag of some type that it recovered some of the spots and did a temporary fix that gave you a little more room until all of a sudden it got confused again and reported defected sectors.
Right, and that's the other part of the problem is that FAT32 is prone to fragmentation.
Oh, big time.
And so using exFAT or HTFS would be a better choice there.
Yeah, because
I don't know if the iPad can recognize HDTV. Well, it would go.
Okay.
It would go to the NAS over SMB, so it may not matter that way. But when it gets to the NAS, it
all right.
could
So
matter.
exFAT anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I lost my train. Oh, would it matter whether I reformat this drive on a PC or the Mac? If I do it in exFAT?
It should not. It should not matter which.
Now, does he do GUID or MBR?
All right. These are mostly going to iPad Airs, but they're coming from GoPros, right?
No. So I have three sources for video. I have the iPad Airs, I have a GoPro, and I also have a fairly new Panasonic, more like a video TV camera, which I'm just bringing online. So, I'm outputting from the Air, my iPad Air. I'm outputting from the GoPro Mini micro SD card, and also the new camera has dual SD cards for storage.
Mm-hmm.
And I can choose what format to record on in the higher quality camera, but I don't have any choice really. I guess there is some choice on the GoPro, and I think I selected MP4.
Yeah,
the iPads record in whatever 1080p at 120 or something.
Right.
But those are MOV files, right? So I don't know where that. Either way, everything will go on an exFAT format. What was this other thing you mentioned? The MBR or something?
That's the partition type. MBR is more compatible with older Windows PCs. GUID with newer devices that have EFI.
I don't necessarily know that that's an issue he has to deal with.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't matter which type of machine you do the format on, as long as you make sure it's exFAT.
Okay. One other quick question, maybe.
And exFAT is also recommended by GoPro. I'm on there, how to format an SD card.
Oh, all right. Okay. So, Steve, I bought a drive from you not too long ago for my MacBook backup. What's it called?
Time
machine. Yep.
Time machine. Thank you. Is it kind of like a bad thing to do if I have room on that drive, even temporarily, to dub off some stuff to it, and then, or do you think it's just better to leave it as time machine drive and get another one?
It is better to leave it just as a time machine drive, because anything you put on that drive itself isn't backed up. So now that's your only copy of it, and if that drive dies, then you lose it.
Yeah,
so the chances of your main drive and your backup drive dying at the same time are low, but not zero.
Never zero.
So some people will have 2 backup drives, 3 backup drives. But so if you're just going to put something on there so you can carry it to another computer and drag it onto that computer, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
But don't make a practice of it, because those files now are not backed up.
And terabyte drives are so cheap now.
Yeah.
You know, it's cheap insurance to protect your data.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that they'll get an extra drive for storage, and then they'll try to back up onto the same drive, or a new partition in the same drives. So no, you get an extra drive for more storage. You get a bigger extra drive to back up both the drives.
Yeah, right. All right, Dave?
Sure. All right. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
No, thank you. Have fun.
You too. Yeah.
Yep. Bye-bye. I just reformatted my Raspberry Pi 400. Have a half a terabyte SSD card on it, and now it's yet another backup for my documents and my pictures.
There you go.
I rsync it, and it's on 24/7, and every day at 2 a.m. up it goes.
Cool.
It's it took about 5 hours to copy about 130 gigs, and then. And now it's backs up. You know, it takes a minute to back up every day because I don't add that many new files in a day.
Yeah, like I told you, I got 3 Raspberry Pis floating around the house that do back up to different. Like one is just for my wife's photos that she does for the headstones, because especially after she lost so many, literally thousands of photos because of Microsoft doing an update one time on her.
Yeah, that's usually what it takes. Just one data loss, and then you're religious about backups.
And I kept telling her, you got to back it up to there. I put a couple icons on there that she could go and copy them over there, just to have another place that she did.
It
only took that one time to lose them, and
I bought pCloud for my wife's Windows machine. She has probably 50 thumb drives floating around that she puts stuff on, mostly to take it to, like if she needs a color copy to Kinko's or whoever it is now. It's not Kinko's anymore. But I worry that not everything is backed up. So I put pCloud on her machine and it goes in the background, doesn't whatever it does.
Don't even have to
Then I
think
find
about it.
out she's that person who puts everything on the desktop until she doesn't need it anymore. So I had to go back into pCloud and add the desktop as a backup option. Because you pick the folders that you're going to back up. I hadn't picked the desktop until I was at her machine helping her with something one day. I said, what's all this? Oh, those are all the files I'm working on now. Are they anywhere else? No, they're just on the desktop. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, I just recently, with my wife, went to her machine because I added more memory on it. She's now up to 32. And I figured it'd help speed it along. And I looked at her desktop and it's like, wait a minute. Why do you've got 7 iterations of this one file?
Final, really final. I need it this time.
Seriously, this is the final.
I says, you got to clean some of this junk up or put it in a folder. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did that to my wife too. I finally talked her into using folders on her desktop.
Well, I really wonder if there's something wrong with her machine. I might just have to scrap it and wind up putting Linux on it or something else, because this machine, of all the computers we got in the house, hers has a problem with NPAS.
Interesting.
Yeah, it keeps goofing up and locking up that I got to shut it down, restart it. Whereas on my others, I've got 3 upstairs with the ham room and my one downstairs. NPAS runs fine.
I've got NPAS on every single device.
Even on my phone.
Yeah.
And it keeps locking up on her and it's slow. And I'm almost thinking,
there's something not right.
I'm thinking this machine, even the first time I went to put memory in it, had a problem with that. And I'm thinking, I'm going to put the additional memory in there. And I says, all right, I'm going to give you a month, play with it. And if it doesn't seem faster, I'm just going to scrap it and get another motherboard, throw something else in there because.
Yeah. Well, what I might suggest you try to do is delete NPAS, remove the entries in the registry, and then put it back on and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I can do that with Revo.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would suggest trying that.
Because it is all backed up to the cloud anyways.
You see that, folks? We even help each other. So give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. We'll give you the same advice we give each other. It may not be good advice, but it's advice.
It's advice, something else to do in our spare time.
We had a customer this week who was having trouble with iCloud Drive syncing, so she turned off iCloud Drive. And it very helpfully removed everything from desktop and documents.
Oh, no.
And put them in an archive folder.
Oh, no.
And put a message up saying it was going to do that.
Uh-oh.
No one ever reads that message.
Yeah, no, right.
They don't.
So she comes in a panic. All my stuff is gone.
Click happy.
Well, you turned this off and you agreed that it was going to happen. And now here it is in this other folder.
Right.
How do I get it back? We'll move it back where it belongs. And do you want to sync your data so you can see it on your other devices? Yes. Well, then turn that back on.
Yep.
Well, then I got to pay for cloud space. Yes, you do.
Yep.
That is one of the biggest problems with faster computers. Granted, our patience run low.
Yeah.
And, we want instant gratification. But the problem is, and everybody suffers from it, is being click happy. They sit there, yeah, click, 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 click. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, shit, what did I just do? Did I just delete all that stuff? I want it back. And you haven't backed it up. Nope. Ain't happening, folks.
Yep.
And we see some of the same things in the questions here. Now, I tried to get my mail and there's an error message. What's the error message? I don't know. I just click OK.
Yeah.
Well, let's read that error message. Password incorrect. Okay, now I know what to do.
Yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, we've said this a million times. When you get an error message, read it, write it down.
Or take a screenshot of it.
Or a picture on your phone or something that will let you look back at it and say, if you're going to call us with a question, we need that error message. Otherwise, because there's 1,000 different things it could be, that error message should narrow it down significantly.
Because people might not always write it down correctly.
Right.
So that's why there's this snippet tool that you can do a selection of that error and then save it. Then when you call the show, you can pull up that one particular file that you saved on your desktop or wherever and read it to us. Because sometimes just the lettering and everything else can be off and throw things off too.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, so look, we talk all the time about paying attention. And
slow down.
And slow down. And it is true. Instant gratification isn't fast enough anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we whip through this stuff, and that's also how many people get malware on their systems. They go to install something, and it says, we would like to install this utility along with it. Do you want that? Sure. Click, 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 click.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, there was a guy who was very upset with his Chromebook because he said, I can't see anything on it. So he brought his Chromebook in. I looked at it. He had an inch at the bottom, which was the place where you saw the web page.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was toolbars. Everything he had downloaded wanted to add a toolbar, and he just kept saying yes.
Yeah. That'll bite him.
So we got rid of all the toolbars. His machine was much faster, and he was much happier. But you need to read rather than just click. Now, if you're reinstalling something for the 18th time, you know what it's going to ask you, and you can do that click, click, click business. But when it's something you're installing for the first time, pay attention. Read. My favorite thing is when you show somebody something in the menu and they go, I didn't know that was there. It's been there for 22 years.
I showed someone cut and paste the other day.
Yeah.
Cut and paste.
Cut and paste. All right, listen, that music tells us that the first hour of this show is history. The first hour of hurtling headlong into the 53rd year of this radio station. And we want to thank all of you for your generous support. As we said, the fund drive is over and we made our goal. So thank you. Rob can breathe easily for another 6 months. But we're going to take a break, so don't go too far. There's a lot of interesting information coming your way during the break. But we'll be back in just a few minutes with a whole lot more of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. More Dave Enright, more Steve Ray, more Nick Francesco, and more of you. But you have to give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. And we will see you in just a few.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District, Jazz 90.1.
Online at jazz901.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. The White House is seeking clarification from 2 judges on how to legally fund a food aid program that's being suspended because of the government shutdown. On Friday, a Rhode Island judge and a Massachusetts judge said the administration must use emergency funds to keep SNAP benefits coming. The food assistance program is set to expire today because of the government shutdown, impacting 42 million low-income Americans. FBI Director Kash Patel says a potential terror attack in the U.S. has been foiled. Patel posted multiple suspects have been arrested in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack this weekend. 5 people are in custody who are naturalized citizens of a Middle Eastern country. They also claim the alleged plot is connected to ISIS. The next Mega Millions drawing is worth an estimated $800 million. No ticket matched all 6 numbers in last night's Halloween drawing. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
If you love great smooth jazz, check out Smooth Grooves Radio. Listen to it from our jazz901.org website, on Apple Music and TuneIn Radio, and it's also available on our Jazz 90.1 apps for iOS and Android. Smooth Grooves Radio.
Composer, pianist, and Latin jazz exponent Claire Fisher returns to the essence of jazz. Claire speaks of his approach to music composition.
I don't think of music as being something where you get inspired and do it. I just think of writing or whatever my talent is as a compulsive form of behavior that takes place all by itself.
This is Will Moyle. We hope you will join Claire Fisher and me as he visits the essence of jazz.
The Essence of Jazz with Will Moyle, Saturday nights at 6, only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, place of worship, or other chosen groups. Communities can provide support when you need it, including helping your kids avoid underage drinking and other substance use. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
At Wheelchairs for Warriors, serving America's heroes is our mission. With your support, we serve veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty across the United States of America, providing them custom-fit, complex rehab mobility solutions to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. Join the mission at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Soundbites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 4 minutes after the hour, we are hurtling headlong into the 53rd year of Jazz 90.1. That's right. Today is our 52nd anniversary of this station. Again, the pledge drive, for those of you who are just tuning in, the pledge drive is over. We raised a record amount of money. As I'm sure you're aware, everything is getting more expensive. And we needed to raise a record amount of money, and we did. So I want to thank each and every one of you who was kind and generous enough to join and become a member or increase your membership or just throw us some extra money in this go-round. We very much needed it, and we very, very much appreciate
Well, they
it.
show
Thank you all.
it really proves that they care about supporting us and what we're doing here for 16 years now on this station.
Yep.
That we give up our Saturdays, like I've said right along. The prime time in the middle of a Saturday. Here it's noon. 1 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock now.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. But we come on at noon for 2 hours in the center of a Saturday afternoon and bring this information to you.
Yep.
And you folks evidently like what you're hearing and supported us. We can't say enough.
They really like us. They like
Yeah,
us.
they do.
Thank you,
Evidently.
Sally.
I don't know why, but they do.
Thank you, Sally. All right. Microsoft has started testing a new feature that prompts Windows 11 users to run a memory scan when logging in after a blue screen of death or black screen of death. It's still a BSOD. These notifications will be displayed whenever the device encounters a bug check, a critical Windows kernel or driver error that the operating system cannot recover from, which triggers a BSOD. The new proactive memory diagnostics feature is designed to improve reliability by ensuring that memory issues that could trigger a bug check are found and addressed before they can cause instability. At the moment, it is not available on ARM64 devices or systems with administrator protection or BitLocker without secure boot. Microsoft has, speaking of administrator protection, Microsoft has released a preview update for Windows 11 24H2 and 25H2, which begins the rollout of administrator protection cybersecurity feature and an updated start menu. The update is part of the company's optional non-security preview update schedule, which releases updates at the end of each month to test new fixes and features coming to the next month's patch security. You can install the update by opening settings, clicking on the Windows update, and then check for updates, or just wait till the patch Tuesday comes out. Since this is not a security update, it will not be available to Windows 10 users. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, the ACCC, is suing Microsoft for allegedly misleading 2.7 million Australians into paying for the Copilot AI assistant in the Microsoft 365 service. Even though subscribers could have stayed on their existing plan without Copilot and at the same price, the ACCC says that Microsoft concealed that option and designed its communications to make sure that make users think that upgrading to the more expensive AI integrated tier was the only way to keep their service active. Microsoft has confirmed that the Windows 11 Media Creation tool is working again on Windows 10, 22H2, and Windows 11 25H2 systems. Media Creation tool is a free tool that helps download the latest version of Windows and create bootable installation media for system recovery, clean installs, or upgrading a new device. And although that is not a security update, not surprisingly, it will be added to Windows 10 because it's the only way to create a Windows 11 Media Creation tool, Windows 11 Media from Windows 10. On Thursday, Microsoft suffered a DNS outage. Yes, sometimes it is DNS, affecting customers worldwide, preventing them from logging into company networks and accessing Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365 services. Of course, a fumble-figured configuration change was responsible. Microsoft says it's all fixed, until, of course, the next time. While you wait for that next DNS outage, give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415.
No, what's interesting to me is that the Microsoft outage didn't make as much regular news as the Amazon outage.
Right.
Even though Azure and 365 are huge services.
They are huge services, and people use them all the time, but mostly those are in businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so internal to businesses. So,
and if your business account doesn't work, you don't care.
You don't care. You're
IT does, but you may not.
Well, guess it's time to get on YouTube.
Yeah.
I get that. But this notice about the one update that won't come out for Windows 10. This is just the start, folks. As time goes on, we're going to see more and more updates that have nothing to do with security that will not be backported to Windows 10, and you just have to be aware of that. And we've said this before, and we'll just keep saying it because none of you are actually listening. There will come a time when our response is that will never be fixed. I'm sorry, but you're on Windows 10, which means the problem you are now having will never be fixed. And you just have to be prepared for that. Look, it is not your fault you bought a Windows 10 machine, a machine that can't go to Windows 11. I understand that. It's not your fault that you can't go to Windows 11. And if you want to think that Microsoft is punishing you for that, that is certainly right. But that is the reality is that there will be more and more things that cannot be fixed on 10. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Bob from Hilton, New York. What's up, Bob?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Peachy, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. I got a little bit of a dilemma here. Last March of 2025, I bought a PNY SSD drive, 2 terabyte, put it in my computer. I put Windows 11 on it, and I got an error message the other day after doing a Windows update. So there was 2 messages that came up. One of them was from Dell. It said no hard drive detected. And another one said checking media present, start PXE over IPv4. So I wasn't sure what to do, so I took the SSD drive out of the computer. I bought a cheap enclosure for it. I plugged it in a different computer to see if it would recognize it, and it would not recognize it. So I'm assuming the hard drive is no good. So I called up PNY, and they said, send us this, that, and the other, which I did. And they said, okay, we're going to give you an RA return number. So, but now I'm thinking like, wow, so I'm going to give them this drive with all my data on it, all my documents, photos, everything. And so they're going to be nice and give me a new drive. But I'm thinking, is this a good idea, or should I just, eat the $100 I spent on the SSD?
Well, 10 to 1 odds, if they're just going to verify that it had a head crash.
Well, it's an SSD, so there's no head to crash.
Yeah, well, I mean, but in old terms, that you can't, it's not going to boot, and, it's a bad drive that they've got to replace it because it's still under warranty. So I don't think they're even going to take the time or effort to try to recover anything off of that. It's just not the.
They could. That's the
they
problem.
Could, but most companies, they're too busy.
So let me go back and ask a question or two here, Bob. You were actually booting from this SSD.
Correct. Yep, that was my main hard drive.
And it was external.
No, it was internal drive.
Oh, it was an internal drive.
Yeah,
okay.
internal.
All right.
Yep.
Hard drives die.
And this might be a point where you might want to look at SpinRite, which can resurrect seemingly dead drives. Resurrect it enough to get your data off of it before you send it in for warranty repair. But the problem is with an SSD, there's no secure erase ability with most of them because it writes data to random parts of the drives, so all the cells wear out at the same time. So there's no overwriting every block.
Okay, so that's called SpinRite?
Yeah.
Yep, I updated the link to it. It's for all mesh storage, spinning drives, and SSDs. There's what's called there's a level 2 scan where it tries to read all the data on the drive, and many times the drive's built-in data correction can recover a bad block. So it could be like the boot block has failed.
Yeah,
and so now
boot sector.
All the rest of the blocks on the drive are fine, but the boot block is bad.
Okay.
And SpinRite can rebuild that.
I'm not I have everything backed up like 5 different ways, so I'm not worried about me getting the info. I'm just not crazy about them having, everything that's on my hard drive. I mean, I've got documents and, photos and whatever.
Right, of course.
Stuff that's mine. So I don't know if I should just eat $100 and get a new drive or send it in and get a free one.
If you put it near a very, very large magnet, that will scramble the data completely.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
At which time you could try reformatting and see what happens.
True.
In fact, you don't even have to do the magnet thing. You can just try reformatting it. and see what happens. It may well be that during a low-level format, a real full format, but it might be that during a real low-level format, it will recognize the bad sector and block it out.
But I thought he said when he hooked it up in that enclosure and hooked it up to another computer, it didn't even see the drive.
Right,
Correct?
it won't. It won't.
Yeah, so that's
it's
dead.
hosed.
Yeah, it's toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that could be the partition table then too.
Right.
But like I say, if you go ahead and throw a magnet on it, that's gonna make it totally worthless.
Right.
You know, that's a great idea because
Actually, no. Stop. Back up. It's an SSD.
It won't.
It writes. Yeah, it burns a charge into a cell.
A magnet won't do a thing to it.
Only a mechanical drive.
So what I would try to do first is reformat it. It can't hurt to try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then you can make that decision. But I think Dave is right. The likelihood is that PNY will do the absolute least amount of work.
Yeah, they're just going to try to boot it, and they're going to see that it doesn't even boot.
And send you a new one.
Yeah, all right, yeah. And they're just going to have to trash that one because it's not worth it, you know, to take the chance of, getting into somebody's files and all this other stuff, you know.
What I would be...
Corporation doesn't have the time for...
But I'll guarantee you one of the things they will try to do is reformat it. So
Yeah.
do that yourself. Why not?
Yep.
Try it, yeah.
You always say you can't be too paranoid.
Right.
I'd be worried about what do they do with it next.
Well, that was just about to say that.
Yeah. So you hear horror stories all the time about people buying a lot of 1,000 broken drives on eBay and using SpinRite to resurrect half of them and getting all the data back.
SpinRite would be the way I would go just to try.
That's $80 to buy that. It's more of a tool for technicians to use, but it is something that could be done.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you know, the coincidental thing about this whole thing was this happened the day after I did a Windows 11 update.
Yeah, it is very likely that the Windows 11 update borked the drive.
Could be. Yeah.
It is very likely. I'm sorry, but yes.
Well, and it would have written a lot of data to the drive, written a lot of data too. So if it was a marginal drive, that could have tipped it over the edge.
Yeah, and scrambled the data so bad that even if some other company got it, it would be so porked that, you know, and scrambled because of Windows trying to do that install and wound up screwing up everything, that it made it totally non-recognizable when you tried to put it in that cheap enclosure and hook it up to another computer.
Right.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I think I'm going to try the reformatting idea, and then if that doesn't work, I think I'm just going to probably just going to eat it and just buy a new one. I can get a new 2 terabyte drive now for about a little over $100.
Yeah, well, and exactly. If honestly, that would be what I would do, because I am more paranoid than anybody. So yes, I would, you know, put 2 bullets behind its ear and dump the body in the canal. That's, you know, but I'm Italian, so that's what we do. I would trash that drive, and I would take a hammer to it.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to wind up happening here.
Skeet.
But I'll try to reformat it and see what happens after that.
Yeah, good luck, Bob.
Give it a shot.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Let us know. Let us know what happens.
Will do.
Thanks.
Care.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Yeah, sadly, it's very difficult to skeet an SSD.
Yeah.
They're too light. I've said this before. I have done skeet with spinning hard drives. They're hard. They're heavy enough that you can.
Well, just take it out to the range and put it in there. And
you just set it up. Yeah, you just set it up and target. You
blow
just
holes in
skeet
it and watch it shatter all over the place.
Yep. I will tell you this: there is almost nothing more satisfying to a technician than to take an old equipment out to a gun range. There's almost nothing that's...
Oh, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah. That you know, whether it's a shotgun or even something as small as a 22, it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun.
I went target practicing with a friend once, and we were using a .38 revolver because that's what she had. Set a can on a post, and that can was safe as could be.
The first time I ever used a revolver, I thought to myself, well, I scared the hell out of that thing, but I never hit anything. I have fired a 50 cal revolver. That just.
I just saw a guy the other day.
That's a lot.
YouTube channel was shooting a K-rail, the construction barrier.
Oh yeah.
He started with a 9mm and then a 45, and then he kept going higher and higher caliber. Even a 50 cal round wouldn't go through.
Yep.
It took 3 rounds in the same spot before it went through, and then killed the mannequin on the other side.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Fred.
Sorry, Fred. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Chuck from Penfield, New York. What's up, Chuck?
Hi, guys. Elaborate, if you will, if I understood it right. The last caller, it sounds like you can't scrub an SSD?
Basically, yes. When an SSD writes data to the drive, it writes it randomly around the drive.
Yep.
Because there's no speed issues like with a spinning drive.
Right.
And it does that to avoid any single cell wearing out.
Right.
So a 2 terabyte drive has 2 trillion bytes, but each byte is 8 bits, so that's 16 trillion bits of cell.
Right.
And then, no.
But in both worlds, if you delete a file, it just erases the name of the file.
Right.
And the file and stuff, information is still there.
The data is still on the disk, yes.
Right. But when you scrub a drive, it actually puts random junk or whatever into the locations where those files would be, so that if anybody goes to look for anything, there ain't nothing there.
So if you use something like Bleach Bit or one of those sorts of scrubbers, shredders, yes, that will do that. The problem is, as Steve said, every time you write to an SSD, you damage it a little.
Right.
That's how they work.
Right.
So if you do that often with an SSD, it has a much shorter life.
Okay. But if you're going to sell or dispose of an SSD and you want to scrub it,
you can do that, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So when it puts random junk in places, it actually destroys or randomizes the information. It's not like you can't do it.
Right. Bob's problem was that he couldn't read the drive.
Right. Okay.
So that's an entirely different issue.
Okay.
And on an SSD, you can't necessarily get to all the blocks on the disk because of wear leveling and over provisioning.
Okay, but if you scrub it and you can't get to where, because it's defunct anyhow, then it doesn't matter, because ain't nobody going to get there anyway.
The likelihood that you miss an important piece of information is small, but never zero.
Right. And there are forensic tools, like SpinRite, that can get that data back.
Okay.
Right. So, again, your best bet is to use a product like SpinRite or D-Ban or one of those. D-Ban hasn't been updated in a while. There's another one that's...
They went commercial.
Yeah.
So
it can be done. It just, you need to be aware that it may not be as perfect as it would have been on a spinning drive.
Some places aren't going to be taken care of, but they have been identified as being worthless anyway.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chuck. Yeah.
And that's the horror stories we've read about, buying a lot of drives and finding data on it. Or there was even one, somebody bought ATM machines and found receipt rolls still in it. The ATM machine keeps the receipt of your transaction and everyone's transaction internal that the bank is supposed to take out. And they didn't. And then there was the copier one. How many people knew that copiers have hard drives? Buffalo Police Department ended up in one. John Stossel shows up and, hi, here's a list of all of the sex offenders files that you copied on your copier that are still on the hard drive that we just bought that was supposed to go overseas somewhere.
Yep. And so, when you sell an item or dispose of an item, it may not end up completely dead.
Take off, nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
It's the only way to be sure. What I tend to do when I actually have to dispose of a system rather than turning it into a Linux machine, and by the way, turning it into a Linux machine means that you are erasing the drive and overwriting it with Linux. So the likelihood that someone will be able to retrieve data from it is small.
Yeah. They don't have the tools like the FBI or that.
Right. Never zero.
No.
But minuscule. But if I am actually e-wasting a computer, I take the hard drive out. And generally, I just put it on the shelf somewhere in case I ever need another hard drive. But I will reformat it and let it sit there waiting. I don't throw away. And if it's an SSD and it's really dead, then I kill it. I hit it with a hammer, break it in half if it's like an M2 card or NVMe or whatever. So yeah, you want to be more careful than you've been when you're disposing of those things, and that's why I have in the past. I don't bother with it anymore, but I have in the past when I bought an used machine from Woot. First thing I do is run SpinRite on it. But yeah, you want to be.
Say there were stories from Steve, who Compaq bought a enterprise license to SpinRite, and every hard drive they bought before it went into a Compaq PC, they ran SpinRite on it, and the drives they were buying fresh from the factory had like a 30% failure rate, and they would send them back. So Western Digital started yelling at Steve Gibson, who wrote SpinRite, saying, please don't do that.
You're right. Well, and that's it. We've said this before. The average mean time between failures for a hard drive is 5 years. What that means is some last 10 years, some are dead out of the box, and everything else is in between. Where in between? Nobody knows. So that's what one of our other callers has a dead SSD. Bob from Hilton had a dead SSD. It's only a couple of years old. It is entirely possible that SSD just simply died.
Yeah, I mean, I've had, when the shop going, we got a batch of Western Digital drives. I'll never forget this. And they were 500 meg. And I'd say out of 20 of them, at least 16 of them died.
Yeah.
Right out of the box. And couldn't even get them to spin up, or they'd spin up and then, boop.
DOA or dead almost immediately.
Bad components on it. And I mean, Western Digital was great about it. They go, yeah, we had problems. There's no issue with this block of drives. And they gave all these serial numbers, and sure enough, we wound up returning the whole batch. I didn't want to take the chance.
On the other hand, God bless them, they did that. They took them all back and replaced them.
And they were great about that.
That's important.
And nowadays they're trying to cram more.
You're off.
I sneezed. And nowadays they're trying to cram more and more data into the same amount of physical space.
Right.
So the densities are higher. On a SSD, it used to be a cell would hold a 0 or a 1.
Right.
And that's called a single level cell, SLC. That's what you want to look for. But then they said, hey, what if we do half a charge? Then it can be 0, 1, 2, or 3.
Yep.
That's a multi-level cell. Turns out, due to quantum effects,
yes,
electrons don't like to do that. So some modern drives have so much error correction built in. That's one of the funny things to watch on the SpinRite summary. The drive can have 0 errors, but the error correction line has been 100% solid all the way through.
Yep.
Every byte is being corrected as it comes off the drive because they're trying to cram so much data in the drive. Even the mechanical disks. It used to be, it's a little bit of rust. Is it going south-north or north-south? Then they started doing all kinds of tricks to try to pack them together. It used to be they just add more platters.
Right.
So I had a full height hard drive, literally the size of a shoebox, and now they're all really, really tiny. Have one platter, maybe 2.
Right.
And so they're just trying to pack more and more and more data on each platter.
Right. And so if you're, again, don't trust your hard drive. That's why we say back up, back up, back up.
Yep.
Like I said, I just reformatted my Raspberry Pi 400, and now it is another backup drive because I don't trust drives. For many decades, I saw lots and lots of drives die in our server room. I don't trust drives.
Yeah, Backblaze and Google both put out reports every quarter on how many hundreds of thousands of drives they use and which one has failed and which one worked best this month. And every month it's a different model of a different brand.
But whether it's an SSD or a spinning drive, the mean time between failure is 5 years.
Yeah. They fail differently, but
Right.
they still fail.
But they still fail after 5 years. So again, that's 10 years or 0. All right, we're going to take, while you think about where you should be backing up, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 29 minutes after the hour. You're listening to the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes, right here, as we hurtle headlong into the 53rd year of Jazz 90.1. We will see you in a few.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. The White House is seeking clarification from 2 judges on how to legally fund a food aid program that's being suspended because of the government shutdown. On Friday, a Rhode Island judge and a Massachusetts judge said the administration must use emergency funds to keep SNAP benefits coming. The food assistance program is set to expire today because of the government shutdown, impacting 42 million low-income Americans. FBI Director Kash Patel says a potential terror attack in the U.S. has been foiled. Patel posted multiple suspects have been arrested in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack this weekend. 5 people are in custody who are naturalized citizens of a Middle Eastern country. They also claim the alleged plot is connected to ISIS. The next Mega Millions drawing is worth an estimated $800 million. No ticket matched all 6 numbers in last night's Halloween drawing. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
It's time to select and decorate pumpkins for your Halloween display. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. Select pumpkins free of holes, cuts, and soft spots. Damaged fruit tends to rot faster, ruining your fall display. And always carry the fruit cradled in your arms, not by the stem. Store carving pumpkins in a cool location until you're ready to start cutting. Extend the beauty of carved pumpkins by washing them with warm water and letting them dry before making the first cut. Try leaving the top intact and scooping the insides out through a hole in the back. Coat the cuts with petroleum jelly or vegetable oil to seal in the moisture and prolong your display. Sprinkle with cayenne pepper to help repel hungry animals. Then give any shriveling jack-o'-lanterns a cold bath to freshen up their appearance. And once the pumpkin rots, move it to the compost pile. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips.
Composer, pianist, and Latin jazz exponent Claire Fisher returns to the essence of jazz. Claire speaks of his approach to music composition.
I don't think of music as being something where you get inspired and do it. I just think of writing or whatever my talent is as a compulsive form of behavior that takes place all by itself.
This is Will Moyle. We hope you will join Claire Fisher and me as he visits the essence of jazz.
The Essence of Jazz with Will Moyle, Saturday nights at 6, only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
Lifetime music lover and radio fanatic Mike Whittemore here, inviting you to join me every Wednesday from 10 till 1 for 3 hours of great music and a little bit of fun on Jazz 90.1.
You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
If you're 19 or older with certain underlying medical conditions such as asthma or diabetes, you can get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're 65 or older, it is also recommended you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, no matter the season. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. A message from the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
A mostly cloudy sky in store here for this Saturday across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes. And we'll have a couple of spotty lake rain showers. Temperatures will be into the upper 40s for highs. It will still be a bit breezy, too, just not as windy as what it was on Halloween. As we head into your Saturday night, it's mostly cloudy. Still a possibility of a lake rain shower. The overnight low temperature in the mid-30s. And for Sunday, it looks like the drier, brighter, calmer of the 2 weekend days with some partial sun, highs near 50. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got mostly cloudy skies, 47 degrees out at the airport and 45 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 34 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. And I will read the news while you give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299, toll-free 800-790-0415. Now, do I want to read the miscellaneous news or the Google news?
Do Google.
All right. No, you know what? I'm going to read the miscellaneous news.
Yeah, $3,500 Samsung refrigerator. That sounds interesting.
If you're one of the people who spent $3,500 on a Samsung Family Hub refrigerator, congratulations, you're getting ads. After kicking off an unpopular pilot test last month, Samsung made the practice of having its expensive smart fridges display ads official this week. The ads will arrive through a software update that Samsung will start issuing this month and display on the fridge's integrated screen. The ads will show when the fridges are idle. I don't know what an idle fridge is. And display what Samsung calls cover screens. Because, of course it is, Lucid, the Saudi-backed electric vehicle startup, has announced a partnership with NVIDIA with the aim of creating an autonomous vehicle for consumers. Oh, and the AI will apparently design Lucid's production line because having to pay attention not dying on the road takes away from our precious screen or nap time. A computer that relies on fungal mycelium to store information could one day be a low-cost alternative to current generation of memory hardware.
Star Trek Voyager, or Star Trek Discovery. Got it right.
Using plain old shiitake mushrooms, scientists have built working memristors, which are circuitry elements that remember their past electrical states, not from titanium oxide or silicon, but the root-like and somewhat neuron-like part of a fungus called the mycelium. The result is a memristor with performance comparable to that of a silicon-based chip, but potentially low-cost, scalable, and environmentally friendly in ways many computer components today are not. As the researchers note in their paper, the future of computing could be fungal. Samsung unveiled its first triple-display foldable phone for consumers at a tech exhibit hall during APEC CEO Summit in South Korea. The new phone will launch in November or December, whereas the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Galaxy Z Flip 7 fold in half along one hinge. Samsung's next device folds in two places to be as compact as a typical smartphone with a 6.5-inch outer screen, then unfolds for a tablet-sized 10-inch screen. So while most other companies have puny one-fold phones, and Apple has none, Samsung races ahead again. No word on how durable it will be or what it will cost. The U.S. will weigh a ban on children's access to companion bots, as two senators announced bipartisan legislation Tuesday that would criminalize making chatbots that encourage harms like suicide ideation or engage kids in sexually explicit chats. If passed, the law would require chatbot makers to check IDs or use any other commercially reasonable method to accurately assess if a user is a minor who must be blocked.
And that comes after Meta, Facebook, got caught making chatbots that are too sexy and soliciting pictures from minors.
Yep, exactly right. Companion bots would also have to repeatedly remind users of all ages that they aren't real humans or trusted professionals.
Yeah.
Of course, no legislation can be passed until the House is back in session. But we're here, so give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415.
And the big question with these new fold phones?
Yeah.
Gee, what kind of battery are they going to have in it? Because, to power that much screen space.
Well, theoretically, they've now got twice as much space for the battery, right? Because right now, with a regular fold phone, the electronics are in one half and the battery's in the other half. Now they've got a third half. If they can put another battery in there, you get a whole lot more.
That's the key, though.
Right.
Whether they're actually going to do it.
Well, I said theoretically.
Yeah.
And that's the rumors with the iPhone Air this year, is that really, really thin phone that's all battery, and the electronics and logic board are all in the camera hump.
Right.
That's one half of the iPhone Fold.
Right.
You put two of those together, and that's the width of a regular phone.
Right. Well, and of course...
Which is coming in 27, I think, is the current rumor.
Maybe. Well, they originally, well, maybe 27. One of the things that Apple has said is they're curtailing production, I think is the way they put it, of the iPhone Air, because they're just not selling that many units.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as popular as the other. Not that it isn't popular.
Right.
Every Apple product sells very well. It's just not as popular.
They're not driving them to that. They're standing in line, before the store opens.
Right.
Its only selling point is how thin it is.
Right.
The regular iPhone Pro has, even the regular iPhone has a better camera, and the iPhone Pro has an even better camera system.
Right.
And I still don't get it. Call me stupid all day long if you want, but if you're going to add all these other features that, it can do this and do that, and not give me more battery life.
Exactly right.
How the heck am I supposed to watch these movies and everything else that you're touting that, you can watch this and do that, and I got a battery life that's going to be sucked dry before the movie even ends.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And people are beginning to understand this, and that's why something like the MacBook Air, it's got a decent battery life, but not a great battery life.
Well, my new Pixel 9, that's another reason I wound up going to the 9, I'm not paying for a 10, is the better battery life. They put a little bit longer battery life in it because they upgraded the quality and capabilities of the current battery in the 9A.
Well, and that's one of the things that Apple and Google have both done with their latest chipsets. They use lower power to get more speed so that the battery lasts longer. Again, it's not as long as people would like, but it's better than it was.
Well, because, let's face it, folks, as everybody knows, and it's a well-known fact, most homes nowadays don't have a phone in the house other than the one that's in your pocket or the ladies in their purse, because we've done away with home phones. So you're using it for that. You're using it for texting. You can't go around the street with people standing around not looking at their phone, either texting, listening to music, or doing something else on their phone.
Yep.
And you can do it even in a restaurant. I've seen it in a restaurant. Families will be sitting at the table. Everybody's glued to their phone.
Yeah.
They've forgotten how to talk to each other.
When my daughter was living at home, our rule was no phones at the table.
Yeah.
And when I go out to lunch with somebody, there was a point at which my daughter was very sick. And so when I went out to lunch with somebody, I would make a point to say, my daughter is not well. I'm going to keep the phone on the table in case I get a call.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't answer my phone when I'm at lunch with someone. I don't. It's rude.
I heard an interesting rebuttal, someone complaining that their date put their phone face down on the table. So obviously they're hiding something from me.
Well, look, every group of humans on the planet has a certain percentage of morons.
Yeah.
Well, the Google phone, the Pixel phone, if you put it face down, that stops other calls and all that from coming in.
If you set up flip to shh, as they call it.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me back to my day growing up, not wanting to be disturbed.
Yeah.
One rule in our house, between the six of us.
Well, you had what, 143 kids in your home?
6 in my family.
Yeah.
Dad was 1 in 19.
Oh, yeah.
But one rule my dad had was during supper hour, nobody better call the house.
Right.
And everyone had supper at the same time, because that's when your dad got home from work.
5 o'clock, supper's on the table.
So one time, because the phone was right near where Dad sat, and all of a sudden the phone goes off. And, we're teenagers now.
Yeah, of course.
And my dad answered, hello? Yeah, she's here. And then hangs up. And my sister Deb just about tweaked.
That's what they asked, and I answered their question.
He goes, was that my friend so? He goes, yeah. And he asked if you were here. And I said, yes. And then hung up.
Yep.
She goes, you know the rule. Nobody calls. But it was important. Not enough to interrupt dinner.
Exactly right.
Eat.
Exactly right. No, that's, now people don't talk anymore.
Yeah, they don't. They're so
And then we wonder why these AI companions are so important because people don't talk to each other anymore. Who are you going to talk to?
Yeah.
Your phone. That's it.
Well, they've forgotten how to.
Exactly.
Like I say, you can go out on the street and see if people are waiting around a bus stop or just walking along. They're walking with their face in the phone.
Yep.
And I've even seen some video clips where people are so intense into it that they've walked into
I've seen
power
that.
poles.
I've seen that live.
Yeah.
I've seen that live. It just
hilarious.
It amuses me.
That's why you say, Steve.
So there's a company called 1X that has released an AI robot maid.
Rosie?
Yep, almost Rosie. And then that was the story I saw it on. It's $20,000, and it will clean your house and water your plants and things like that. There's two. They say there's two caveats with it. There are multiple layers of security to prevent it from turning into Terminator.
Okay, good.
So every time a robot's eyes turn red when it goes evil, means that some engineer put in red LEDs just in case.
Just in case.
And you have to sign a waiver to allow the human operators to see through the robot's eyes.
Oh, the human operators at the company.
It's not a robot then. It's a telepresence.
Right.
Well, the one new device that I saw out is that snowblower that's
a Roomba snowblower.
Yeah.
It
goes out there up to 12 inches of snow and sit there. You can sell it to do the pattern. You don't even have to go outside. You can look out your window and that thing opens up the garage door.
I'd like the RC versions of those RC lawnmowers too.
Yeah.
Before they can learn your lawn, you can RC it around.
We had a customer order one of those.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even make it out of the box because the wife brought it back in and said, if he lives to be any older, I want to return this. He's not spending this kind of money to do the darn lawn. He can sit on his mower and do it.
We've always paid neighborhood kids, but there aren't any anymore.
And it's gotten expensive.
Well, and
you used to be able to give them $5. Now they want 25 minimum.
Well, yeah. But still, I'm perfectly happy to help a neighborhood kid.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm perfectly happy because I did that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was my fun money for the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was always happy to do that. Now there aren't any kids in my neighborhood.
We had an iris grower nursery behind us, our house, and he had won a bunch of awards, had several iris breeds named after him, and that was my first job was weeding the iris gardens.
Yep.
And then when I got old enough that my feet would reach the pedals on the lawnmower, I could mow the lawn. So I worked for him from when I was like 6 or 7 till 18 and went to college.
Yep. And earned decent money from those
Yeah.
days. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Rick from Pittsford, New York. What's up, Rick?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Is something going on with Chrome? I saw a magazine article, I think it was Forbes, and it said it's kind of like warning businesses away from it. And then with my own Chromebook, I'm looking, and I used to use COG, the system viewer.
Yeah.
And it says Chrome stopped running it in July. I'm just wondering what's going on with Chrome.
The ChromeOS or the Chrome browser?
ChromeOS.
Nothing that I know of.
Yeah, no.
Well, okay. So one of the things that Google is talking about doing, and that's ChromeOS. One of the things that Google is talking about doing is merging ChromeOS and Android OS. So it is possible that what you're hearing is people saying, well, this is on the horizon, so don't get excited about ChromeOS because it's changing.
There was also...
So maybe hold off on buying a Chromebook until that is cleared up.
There was also the lawsuit, three separate lawsuits that Google lost for being a monopoly.
Right.
And the judge is supposed to be releasing the penalty phase. One of the penalty options that the Justice Department wants is for Google to divest itself of Chrome because they're an illegal advertising monopoly.
Right.
And no one could understand what difference that made. So yeah, because the Chrome browser allows you to get to ads means that Google can't own it anymore.
Yeah, something like that.
That likely won't happen.
So it is possible what you're seeing is reaction to those sorts of news stories. But in terms of ChromeOS itself, I haven't seen anything that would say, don't use it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still confused. So you're saying don't buy a Chromebook at this point? Wait till they make an announcement?
No, I'm saying that other people are saying that. So what it is it's the Adam Osborne effect. Okay? This is back in the days when the Osborne 1 was out. Osborne 1 was an incredibly successful laptop for its day, luggable. And they announced that there would be an Osborne 2 and it would be so much better. So people stopped buying the Osborne 1, which means they couldn't afford to put out the Osborne 2. And what we see happening is something similar. Because something new is coming out, people are saying, well, I'm not going to buy the old thing because it may not be compatible. Well, okay, but if that old thing is 2 or 3 years away, then you can make a decision. Do you spend $150 or $200 now, knowing that in 2 or 3 years you may need to spend another $200?
Not need to, but could.
Could.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ChromeOS is upgradable for 10 years now. All versions of ChromeOS will be supported for 10 years. So, buying a Chromebook is a better investment than buying a Windows machine, because they're guaranteeing that they will support it for 10 years.
Yeah, I was just wondering because, like I said, I use the system viewer in COG, and that won't run anymore. I was wondering what other apps might not run anymore.
Right. Some will not. They make changes all the time to different things. But at the other end, they've added support for Android apps, and they add new things all the time. So you win some, you lose some.
Right. All right, well, yeah, thanks. I was just wondering because I'm starting to see more on problems with Chrome, and I use the Chromebooks, and, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Chromebooks are going away anytime soon.
No.
I could be wrong. Listen, I've been wrong,
Well,
twice in my
school
life?
systems are using them like crazy, though.
Yeah, school systems are still using them
because they're so easy for them to set up. They can control where the kids can go and everything else. They've got a lot more control. They don't have to worry about viruses. They don't have to worry about spyware or malware. And then at the end of the school year, they can get those Chromebooks back from the students, wipe them out, and start fresh again. Hello?
Yes, Melon, that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I look, are you thinking about buying a new Chromebook or just continuing to use the one you have?
Well, I'm going to continue to use. I was just concerned because I used that one app, and all of a sudden it stopped working. And then I saw something on the internet about warnings about Chrome, so I was just wondering what was going on.
Yeah, that seems to be what's going on. I don't know of anything else that's going on. I honestly don't know of anything else that's going on.
Okay, so keep sailing merrily with Chrome and keep away from Windows.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Yeah, and to follow up, ChromeOS COG is basically the Chrome apps, and what Google is doing is replacing Chrome apps, which are only usable inside Chrome, the ChromeOS operating system, with web apps, which are usable in Chrome browser on any device. So you get more bang for the buck when you write a web app as opposed to a Chrome app. And so that's what they're doing. Instead of the Chrome OS apps, they're replacing them with WPAs, progressive web apps. And it's the same functionality that a Chrome app used to have, but it has a wider base. So you can use them on Windows, you can use them on Linux, you can use them on Macs, you can use them anywhere, including Chromebooks, whereas Chrome apps are Chromebook only.
And I'm seeing a report that sys-internals, Chrome://sys-internals, is a passable replacement for COG.
Right.
So if you're just looking for something to replace COG, so that doesn't happen as well. I say it doesn't happen quite as much in the Windows and Mac worlds that a program dies and gets replaced by another one, but it happens often enough that the alternative to is a big website.
Yep. But so ChromeOS theoretically, as near as we know right now, is not going away, but they are replacing the Chrome apps with PWAs, Progressive Web Apps, because Chrome apps only work on ChromeOS, and Progressive Web Apps work on any Chrome browser,
and they make
on
more
any
money for the buck.
platform. Right, more bang for the buck. If you're going to write something, you want to write it for the broadest base.
Yeah.
And so that would be a PWA, a Progressive Web App.
Profit margin.
Right. So yeah, that's where that comes from. So it doesn't look like Chrome OS is going away. And Google has killed a lot of products over the decades. There's the Google graveyard sites that you can go to and find all kinds of things that Google used to have that were great and are gone now. But the Chromebook seems to be a pretty high-end product for Google, and it doesn't really look like they're going to get rid of that anytime soon.
In their defense, though, I mean, they're no different than Microsoft or any of the other OSs. Right. I mean, they all, will support things for so long and then all of a sudden dump them. Mac, too.
One of the things that Google did was originally Chrome OS devices were 5 years of support, then they were 7, now they're 10.
Yeah.
So, if you've got if you bought a newer Chromebook, if you've got one that's already 10 years old, it's not going to
wow.
anything. But any of the newer ones will go 10 years. So, a product that costs you under $300 and lasts for 10 years, in the computer world, that ain't bad.
Mm-mm.
That ain't bad at all. So, yeah, I would not worry too much, at least at this point, about Chrome browsers, Chrome OS operating systems. And, of course, because you can run Linux apps, you are not limited to the Chrome browser on a Chrome device. I run Firefox on my Chromebook as a Linux app, and it runs exactly as it would if it were a Chrome app. And I run Thunderbird on my Chromebook. You can do that. It's easy. You want more than the 2 gig Chromebook. You want a 4 gig at least. 8 gig is better, but you can do it.
I've always been confused by the stories I hear about Android is a great phone OS, but not a good tablet OS. And I'm thinking, isn't a tablet just a bigger phone without a cellular signal in it?
And that's the problem. Many apps for Android were written with this screen size. And
on the iPad, you can double that. So an iPhone-only app, you can have it fill the iPad screen, but it's still just iPhone only.
Right. It's the same on an Android.
Yeah.
But, there are now many more apps that are the screen width is used properly. All right, that's it. We are done for another week. I want to thank everybody who called in. Once again, let me thank every single one of you who was kind and generous enough to become a member of the station or upgrade your membership or just throw us some extra money during our pledge drive. We made the goal. We are open for another 6 months, which is great because today is the start of the 53rd year of this station. And you're all along for the ride, and we could not possibly be happier. But we are done here for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray. I'm Nick Francesco. Thanks to all of you who called in, and particularly all of you who donated. We will see you in 166 hours. Be good to one another, will you?